Well, that was a weird game. At a loss for words, let's just say that. I fully expected, again, Montreal to come out flying for a second straight game. They're on the brink again. They're back at home this time, and now they have fans in the building. So I thought, that typical kind of road game you have to play when you come to another team's building and they come out flying. You just got to weather that first 5-10 minutes of the first period or whatever. Hopefully get through it with no damage and then settle into the game, right? And that's exactly kind of what the Leafs had to do tonight. They were outplayed in the first period. Montreal was flying. But it followed that typical formula. The Leafs had a slow start in the first, and then they settled in as the game went on and gradually took things over. And it appeared as though it was going to be okay because they got through the first period with no damage. It was a 0-0 tie. And then they got through the second period with no damage. It's a 0-0 tie. And Campbell played really well. He held them in there in that first period and had a good overall game. Both goalies did. It was ended up being a goalies duel in the end. But all the damage in the game, other than overtime, which it eventually went to, all came in the third period. And it was a bizarre sequence of events. Leafs took a penalty and were on the kill when Nylander just kind of ran into Price. I don't know what he was doing, but he just kind of, I don't know, like, he wasn't pushed or anything, and there was nobody around him. He just kind of went into him. It was kind of a needless penalty, and I was kind of curious as to why exactly it happened. And then, of course, Montreal had to convert on that power play, and they were up 1-0. Now, on this power play goal, which Perry scored it, I think, it was a big scramble in the crease, and Campbell was kind of out to the right side and was scrambling, and it hit his pad a couple times, and he was searching around for it, and Toffoli had skated into the crease and was standing right beside him. So even if Campbell had wanted to go back into his crease, he really couldn't because Toffoli was there and whatever. So the Leafs ended up challenging it for goaltender interference, which didn't get turned over. So the goal stood, and they ended up taking a penalty for losing the challenge. And then as they were setting out to kill this new penalty, Marner somehow, did the high flip out of his own end to clear the puck and somehow put it over the glass. So they're on a long 5-on-3, right? And Montreal converts on the first one, so they're down 2-0, and things, holy shit, we're not looking good. And then all of a sudden, they kill off the second half of that 5-on-3, or the second man on that 5-on-3, and they get back to work. And soon enough, Spezza, about 12 minutes in, they generate a turnover down low in the corner, and it comes out to Spezza in front. He puts a wrist shot on net that hits, I think, Petrie, and redirects past Price. 2-1 all of a sudden. It's a 1-goal game. And just before the 17-minute mark, the Leafs are buzzing in the Montreal end. The puck looks like it's going to squirt out over the line. Engvall catches up to it, passes it across the point to Brody on the right side, and he just hauls off and slaps one that hits Petrie again and deflects past Price, and it's 2-2. And I'm going, finally, right? Like, fuck. And eventually it would settle that way, and it would go to overtime 2-2. This series has been so bizarre because I feel like the Leafs have been the better team for 80% of it, but somehow it's tied 3-3 now, and we're going to Game 7. The Leafs tonight, after being outshot in the early going 10-1, something like that, 10-0, they ended up coming back, tying the game. They had a big advantage in shots at the end. They just took the game over as time rolled on, but it ended up falling in overtime about 15 minutes in on another Leaf turnover, which has been shooting them in the foot. So it's just kind of frustrating that they're a much better team than Montreal. They've showed that, and they've been the better team for most of this series. But you make a few turnovers, some bad decisions. you don't show up on time early and get down early, and you're going to a game 7 against a much inferior opponent, right? So that's kind of why you really need to, that when they say play a full 60 minutes, you know, that's not just something they say as a cliche or anything. It's fucking true, right? There's so much parity in the league anymore. Even the bad teams like Montreal can give good teams trouble, right? If you don't show up. So they let another one slip away. Now that's 2 games, 2 elimination games in a row where they could have had Montreal out, and they've let it slip with another overtime loss. This is starting to remind me of previous Leaf failures, right? They battle in a series and battle and have a chance. They get a team on the ropes. They have a chance to eliminate them, and they just can't get over that hump. This is reminding me of that again. This is supposed to be a team that has improved, has matured. They've added new pieces. They're supposed to be able to do this, and they're not. So, one more game. What I'd like to see from this team is, they're back at home. I want to see them come out flying off the start. I don't want to see guys not skating or backing off pucks because they're afraid of getting hit or whatever. I want them to come out like gangbusters in this game and really take it to the Habs and run them out of the building. I want it to be a game like, if we harken back to a couple of the best years of my life when the Leafs made the conference finals 2 years in a row in 93, 94. And there was, after upsetting the Red Wings in the first round of the 93 playoffs in Game 7, they went and played another 7-game series against the St. Louis Blues, who had a surprise goalie in net named Curtis Joseph, who gave them fits. It was a tightly contested series. Felix and Cujo were battling back and forth. It went to a Game 7. It looked like it was going to be another close one. The Leafs came out and fucking hammered the Blues and won 6-0 or something like that. It was laughable. They just came out and hammered them. That's the kind of effort, that's the kind of result I want to see in this game. I want the Leafs to say, this isn't happening again. We're going to go out there, we're going to win this game. We're not going to be tentative and wait for something to happen or whatever. We're going to go make our own fortune and our own luck, and we're going to fucking run these clowns out of our building, right? That's what I want to see. I don't want to see a slow start and a tight game. And another fucking overtime. I want them to make a statement in Game 7. Because if they don't and they lose another Game 7 like this, after being up in this series, like, what the hell do you do after that, right? Like, what do you do with this team anymore? And you know what? Yes, there was lots of signs of maturity from this team this year, that they'd learned their lessons, that they had grown as a group, that they were good at locking down games and eliminating defensive mistakes and stuff like that. Yet you see these things happening, right? So, but it's funny, it's the contrast. It's like I said, they've been the better team for at least 80% of this series. They are a markedly better team. But yet here we are. So, I don't have the answers. I don't understand it sometimes. But being a lifelong Leaf fan, there are many mysteries in the universe I'll never understand, and I just hope one day, one of them gets solved. Like the one where they win a fucking cup. So, anyways, that's where everything stands right now. Tonight they got Foligno back, so that was nice, but they lost Muzzin. Muzzin left, I don't know, halfway through the game, maybe. Looked like a groin, so. They've been dealing with this too, right? They've had some key pieces out. Tavares was out of the first game, and then Foligno's been out for 3 games, and now Muzzin goes down. So, they've had some injuries to key players, which hasn't helped. But tonight, they've gotten the reliable goaltending. Jack's been really good. So, I don't see why he won't be good in Game 7, and hopefully he can again hold the Leafs in there. But like I said, I don't want it to be close. I want them to go out and blow the doors off Montreal. If they do that, we can erase all the shit that happens in this series and move on. If they don't, and they maybe lay another egg, I don't know what I'm going to do, to be honest. So let's just leave it at that. I'll be back Monday night, I assume, with post game Game 7 comments, and hopefully I'll be in a good mood.